This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, so I wanted to start off this one with just something quick. It was just interesting because Friday, a couple days ago, I went to that ND meeting. I know we talked about this already, but I thought it was just an interesting topic because the way it's framed. So we always hear that idea of like your greatest strength is your greatest weakness, or like it can become your greatest weakness. Mm-hmm. So one of my greatest strengths is like being super meticulous with data and also being disciplined enough to like follow through on that data, right? So I would well, all right, so Tara's like, oh, you have like high blood pressure, so you need to bring your weight down. So I got this like app and I would track everything, like every consumption, body weight, all that, and I was able to drop my weight down and my blood pressure down, all down to like normal levels. But in doing that, it like subconsciously programmed my mind to always be in high alert. Like, so he's like, so I developed eczema out of nowhere. It like never happened my entire life. And then when I was going to the guy, he's like, I think it's stress related, not actually dietary related. Although the one overseeing him, because it was like an intern, she was like, okay, let's just try the diet first. Let's eliminate things because maybe it is a diet related thing.
Yeah, true.
But then when he was listening to me, because I only really talked to her for like 10 minutes or whatever, and he's there for like the whole time. So he's like listening to my story, etc. And he's like, it sounds more like a stress related thing. So my job is to figure out how to remove all the stressors we can from you so that your body can heal. Because like your body's really in two states at all times, one of the two, fight or flight or rest and digest. And you can only heal in rest and digest, right? Like all of the healing functions stop when you're in fight or flight mode, right? And so then I was like, okay, if it's stress, is it this app that I'm using? Because like I was like, I lost a bunch of weight. Could that be it? And he's like, not really. Like it wouldn't, like you might have stressed your body in losing the weight, but it might not have been the whole picture, right? Like Tara likens it to like a cup, and then the more stuff you add to it, like stress, then it overflows, and you're like, okay, your body breaks, right? Which is what's happening to me now. And so I was like, is it this weight loss app? And I was like, I track everything and like hydro, coffee, like literally everything. And then then he was like, yeah, that's surprisingly, like he's like, nobody really does that. So I applaud you for your conviction to do it, but it might be unhealthy now. And I was like, all right, cool. And then we were talking, and I was like, wait, what about my watch? And then I showed him like my heart rate, my steps, my floors climbed, like my pulse ox. Like I'm really hyper tuned.
How often were you looking at the watch or checking that information?
Not all the time. Like he asked me, like, does it stress you out if you don't make your steps or if you go over your calorie count? And I was like, no, it doesn't.
Maybe not. Like, but you were still knowing that you didn't meet the steps.
Exactly. Right. So he's like always being on hyper alert.
Yeah.
It's like if you're always on hyper alert, when can your body relax to just do its job?
Right.
You know? But me being like, okay, what's my calorie? Oh, what's my water intake? Should I take more water? Oh, what's my heart rate? Should I bring that down with like breathing exercises? Like I was treating my body like a robot, You know, and we talked about that so many times during the podcast. Remember, like, we're slowly becoming cyborgs, right? So I fully went cyborg, and I was like, okay, let me just treat myself like a NPC character, right? And he's like, although in your pursuit of perfection, your soul has become hurt. And it just hit me. He said it was weird because he said it in passing, but he doesn't realize how important that statement was to me.
Right.
Because when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, that's totally what it is. And he's like, although you're trying to perfect your body's, like what's the functioning of your body, what is life without imperfection? Mm-hmm. So you need to allow that imperfection in, because I guess like ultimately it's really just letting go, you know? Because like I'm trying to over control it, like a cyborg, but that has trained my body, my subconscious mind to always be on high alert for everything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's so funny because so as soon as he said that, I took off the watch, like when I got home, and I switched it for an analog one, and I actually felt I felt it relax actually. As soon as I did that, I was like, okay, there's nothing to track anymore. So I settled, you know? And but then later that night I realized, wait, why don't I just turn off all the tracking apps? Why do I have to get rid of this watch? Because I really like the watch. Because with like traditional watches, like if you hit it, you could like chance shattering the glass.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So I was like, I don't really want to do that. So like, let me just put this one back on. But like,
it's just gonna add other stress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So yeah. But then I also realized, okay, it's also not healthy to like totally go away from it, right? Like, okay, now I'm not going to look at anything. But then I was like, but my biggest issue was, did I get enough water? And I was drinking too much coffee, because like that was one of the contributors to high blood pressure, like just too much coffee all the time. So I was like, okay, I'll still track like weight, coffee, and water consumption, but other than that, like I don't need anything else. Like I think in the pursuit of being a cyborg or being completely off grid, they're both two extremes, you know? But we have the data, we have all the information, like just figure out how much is too much. It's like, there's this old analogy in like Buddhism where you walk all the way to the left. Like, how do you find the center of the room? You walk all the way to the left, you walk all the way to the right, and then you meet somewhere in the middle. And then you're like, okay, this is the center. So like, yeah, just a interesting teachable moment that your greatest strength can become your greatest weakness. And it's all about finding adequate balance in life, you know?
Which is the general
knowledge
that's been said forever.
But it's weird though, because it's
forget.
like with more tech. And then I started to think like, with people with like social anxiety because of social media, I was like, oh, maybe this is what they're going through too. Because I went full cyborg, right? I was like, okay, everything, I'm going to pretend I'm a video game character, go. Yeah. And then my like body just broke down. It's like too much. We can't do this. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, just thought that was a cool teachable moment. So let's get into Loki.
Okay.
What'd you think?
I thought it was better than last week's episode.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone gave it such a low score.
I have no idea why.
Got like 5, man.
I don't know why.
that is so odd to me because it was really, really good. Well, all right, this is gonna be full spoilers. So when both main characters died, what did you think?
Owen Wilson and
when Owen Wilson died, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And then when the male Loki died, I was like, double damn, bro.
Did you watch the thing after the credits?
No, there's one after the credits.
Yeah, there's something after the credits.
Oh, okay. I'll jump back on there. Okay, well, all right. Just tell me what happens. So
he meets other Lokis. He wakes up.
The male Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not dead.
Well, it's like I don't know where they are exactly.
Okay, so that's so funny because when he quote unquote died, I was like, there's no way they killed off this character.
No, of course not.
I was like, either A, they killed him off because they want women empowerment, so like now it's gonna be a woman Loki.
No, so that's why you got to watch that clip after.
Or B, they're trapped in some alternate. I really thought this. I was like, they're either trapped in some alternate universe or they're trying to go women empowered.
Yeah, no.
So both. Yeah, so he's alive. Oh well, I guess he was trapped in an alternate universe.
Yeah. I don't know whatever they're gonna have to explain all that stuff. So.
Right.
But it's just like he wakes up and then he sees in front of him other
That's
Lokis.
cool. Okay, yeah, I'll have to jump
So I guess
back
all
on
the
that.
dead Lokis, right? Or
That's,
all
the zapped people.
Yeah.
So all the zapped people all the like zapped variants just go to like a
Maybe.
prison or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, we'll find out next
But that's
episode.
so funny. It's like the only way you kill a character for real is if you have a serious send off. Like Marvel doesn't do that. Like when everyone died because of Thanos, that was kind of their like big reveal that nobody really dies. You know, even like Tony Stark. Well, Tony Stark did die, but that is an epic send off. Just like Captain America, an epic send off. Like they wouldn't just kill Loki without an epic send off.
Yeah,
Like the way he died, it was like, oh, that was almost like
exactly
meaningless.
right. Yeah.
There are movies that do that though, which I love. Those movies where like Quentin Tarantino does that. You're investing in a character and they die, and you're like, oh damn, wait.
Right. I mean, yeah, there was. I guess they're all. If there wasn't an epic send off, generally there is. Even Game of Thrones. Thinking about it, there were epic send offs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They wouldn't just. Well, sometimes in Game of Thrones, like the Red Wedding. Well, that was an epic send off.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's still a pretty big event. So
it's not like nonchalant. You're dead.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I'm very like after watching Bliss. I know you haven't seen that yet, but watching Bliss and Loki, I really like that Owen Wilson's back. Like, he's such a great actor. I hope he makes like a continuous return.
Yeah. I think you.
But it's almost like he's too good of an actor. Like Marvel, you guys are getting some really A-list actors here. You know what I mean? Like, but I guess they did that from the beginning because of like Robert Downey Jr.
Well, they built that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it took years to actually get somewhat level of, I would say, serious recognition in a sense, because it's like
True.
I don't think that we haven't done anything that has been over this many years of span for like Marvel movies, right? Like now we've reached that point where it's like there's some level of credence to it, right? So it's like you got Angelina Jolie in the Eternals,
Yeah, exactly.
Salma Hayek in the Eternals. So it's like these are like big actors.
You have big actors
now.
Yeah,
they had to build everyone up, or they build that whole like industry. Like everything's Marvel, right? So it's like you gotta have to do a Marvel movie.
That's so funny. Like it would be really interesting to see like Brad Pitt in a Marvel movie.
That would be interesting. That's another.
Yeah, crazy. A Tom Hanks in a. Right? Could you imagine? That's when you know Marvel's like, you've taken over the game. You have like Tom Hanks, bro.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do about this?
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised because like they got Angela, but okay, no, maybe they have like excellent retired actors. So Angelina Jolie, what was the last big thing she was in? She was big for a while and she like fell off.
Yeah. I don't know if she fell off. Maybe she didn't. No, she was doing her own stuff, or she was like producing and directing.
Oh,
there was a movie on Netflix that I believe she directed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. They weren't in the limelight.
No. They wanted to do the behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, so it's not really about she's not getting any roles.
No, because there was another movie that recently came out with her.
Oh, okay. But it's not like top box office, right?
Well, it's all online right now, right?
Oh, right. Okay, true.
And then the next big thing would be this, I guess. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of see it like, because I watched the Quentin Tarantino podcast with Joe Rogan, and so Pulp Fiction. I know you haven't seen it yet, but it was amazing. So what's his name? The main guy in there.
In Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. It's iconic with Samuel L. Jackson and.
Not John Travolta.
John Travolta, thank you.
Is it John Travolta?
So apparently John Travolta, when he was cast for this, he was like a B-list actor at that point. He was an A-list, then he dropped to B-list.
Okay.
And then
with the Grease, right?
Yeah, he was A-list when he was there.
Yeah.
But then he started to make all these movies that were straight to video.
Right.
Like nobody was I didn't know this though.
I didn't know that.
So then when Quentin Tarantino was like, I'm going to cast this guy, people were like, but he's a B-list, and why would you cast him, And then after Pulp Fiction, his career skyrocketed again because now people saw him in a different light.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about like Marvel kind of does the same thing. They resurrect these actors we've kind of forgotten about, Like that's why I said Angelina Jolie, yeah, she's made movies, but she kind of fell off in the cultural zeitgeist. Like nobody's really paying attention to Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like when we were younger, it was all Angelina Jolie.
Sure.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
freaking The Tourist. Like, you know what I mean? Like she was like in everything.
Yeah, she was in a lot of stuff. Salt, yeah.
Yeah, Salt. There you go. But then all of a sudden she like kind of disappeared. And then same with Salma Hayek. She was big too, remember?
Yeah. Well, they went and they had kids and
but that's what
raising
I mean.
the kids.
It's like so now everyone forgets about you. So what's the next big thing? Let's get a major motion picture and jump back in the limelight. Yeah. Fascinating. Yeah. But well, what do you think?
But it kind of works out for Marvel too, because it's like now you've lost.
So I could pay less for you, basically.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the pay scale would be, but yeah, they basically have let go of all the main characters that were in the Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Through the whole movies, so that pay cut is
actually pause. Actually, looking at this theory, Chris Evans was like that too. He was doing all these B-list movies.
Okay.
The Perfect Score. He was like in these teen dramas.
Right.
And then now he's taking more serious roles because he's in the limelight. Now we take him as like, oh, it's Chris Evans, bro. But it was because of Disney.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., right? Nobody wanted to take a chance. He got Iron Man.
That was after his issue, right?
Yeah, maybe that is what they do. They're like Disney's like a revamper for careers. Like if you can land a Disney role, it's like, or like a Marvel role.
Yeah.
You're back on top. Yeah, fascinating, eh?
Because people tend to fall in love with those characters, right?
Yeah, totally.
And
especially over time.
Thus they fall in love with you.
Johansson's another one. Yeah. Emily Olsen or something, whatever her name is.
Scarlet Witch. The one of the sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like B-list too.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, there's it's like you don't want too big because it's also the budget would be
huge.
That's
why there's no Brad Pitt in it. Yo, what do you think about? Actually, wait. Let's stay on Loki really quick. The robot thing. When the 3 timekeepers, they're actually robots. Yeah. When she said they're androids, I was like, so is computers running our universe?
So what's going on here? That's why
exactly.
It's like
are they like being manipulated by someone else? Like there's no real timekeepers. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like kind of like what's exactly happening? Yeah. What is this TVA? Is this all like
fake?
A fake thing that they're trying to control their own timeline, or like who's
maybe. So what does that mean about determinism, all that stuff in the beginning when we're like, oh,
well, if they've gone to another universe as when he died, so it's like it's not really out of the universe yet,
right? Okay,
I don't know, like this is gonna be, they're gonna need to go into it more, right?
Any timeline stuff is very confusing because like you gotta make sure that's correct.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep that on track here.
Yeah, speaking of timeline things, I think that's also where the Spider-Man movie is headed, the Far From Home. They released the costumes for it, and it's like just different versions, and I think those are different Spider-Men, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be... I
can see that. Yeah. Like, they're dabbling in the timelines now. But I mean, that was the big climax of Spider-Man in the 90s. That's how it ended, remember?
Yeah.
Like the Spider Witch or something.
That old lady,
Yeah, you remember?
I remember this movie. I remember this. It was like one of the best ones.
That was the best.
You saw all the difference.
Oh my God. Dude, that 90s Spider-Man is called Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was slept on, bro. Because that was so intricate. They dealt with like Mary Jane dying and then she came back and then it turned out she was actually a water clone. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah. So she fell off a bridge, and Peter Parker was so scarred because like, oh no, she died, and then all of a sudden she appeared again, and she's like, oh, I fell into an alternate universe and I came back, and he's like, oh, he's so happy, and then all of a sudden she turns out to be a clone. I was like, you are pushing some major like concepts here for like 12-year-olds, you know?
Yeah. I think that would be one of the best Spider-Man cartoons. Ever. I don't know. I mean, even in the newer ones, nothing competes.
And then they jump to like his mutation, and he's dealing with him becoming an actual spider. Do you remember that part?
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, he was like, it was like the vampire. He was seeking out help from Morbius.
Yeah, I think it's Morbius.
I'm thinking of Mobius because of the show we just watched, Loki. His name's Mobius.
Oh,
But Morbius, I think his name.
his name is Morbius. I remember having the comics.
Yeah, Jared Leto is actually playing. They actually have the movie done, Morbius.
Yeah.
But it's something about COVID. It didn't get. It's like installed. It's like stalled right now or something.
Yeah, I don't know when the release date is. I think it's already done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's done too. Yeah. But so anyways, so like Morbius, he goes to the vampire because he's like, I need help with, because I'm turning into a real spider, so I need to.
Okay, I remember some bits like that.
Yeah, so he needs like his help. And then later you find about Madam Web is her name.
That's
Madam
right.
Web. And then there's all these alternate universe Spider-Men, and then they're trying to take down. There's this one bad enemy that's trying to take down time.
Yeah.
Spider Carnage was the one.
Oh, is it?
It was.
I don't remember who the enemy was.
I think it was like Venom and Carnage put together in Spider-Man. No, it was like Spider-Man with Carnage, something like that.
Okay.
It was a symbiote.
Right.
And then they needed to gather all of the people from different timelines to help them out. Yeah, that was really good. And they were all different versions of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the way the series ended is he met Stan Lee. He goes into this universe.
All right.
And then it's our timeline that he goes through. And like where he's just a comic book character.
Oh, that's
and then
funny.
He meets Stan Lee.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's cool. Dude, it's so intricate.
That's pretty good. Damn.
Yeah.
That's a good send off then.
Yeah. That's how it ends.
Yeah. I don't remember the ending, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Marvel was like doing some crazy stuff back in the day. So it's good to see them doing it now, you know? I'm pretty sure that ethos carried through because like all the stuff they're doing is very intricate.
Yeah, it took time to build it all up, but now like they've got shows, right?
Shows are so intricate and they feed into the main timeline.
Yeah. Basically, this was what's basically was it was huge with the comics because comics then you had to buy the different types of stories. Oh, like you have to, in order to continue reading on, you got to go buy Daredevil's one or this one or that one, right? But now it's all like in the movies, and if you've made the whole, you can watch Loki's story. You can watch.
They're like comic book series.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive. Actually, just thinking about it, it's like, man, movies are so great. I can't wait till we're back into the theater again. Like, that is. It's funny. So going back to the ND thing really quick, he asked me like, why do you track all these things? And I'm like, I feel like it's so funny because like talking to him, he's like, wow, you're so self-aware. I'm like, yeah, but he doesn't know who I am, right? So like,
of course.
So when he's like, why do you track all these things? I was like, I think it's because I like the sensation of control, because without control, then I feel like it's chaotic and, you know, I lose power that way. Yeah. And he's like, whoa, that's so self-aware. And then, but thinking about movie theaters, I was thinking about this like a day ago or something. I think the reason why I like movie theaters is that's when I can relinquish control because we're just taken for a ride.
Right.
You know, so for those like 2 hours, like you don't have to worry about anything. Just watch the movie. Yeah. You know, eat your popcorn. You know, I love movies. Like they're great. Yeah. Better than video games because video games is like well, one, video games take forever. Two, your choices matter in video games, so it's like you're still in control.
Yeah, that's
Whereas like movies, it's just like wherever we want to go, we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love movies. Okay, so speaking of movies, do you have anything more about Loki?
Great episode.
Yeah, it was great. These review people are so bad. Like, what was that one you were just saying that the critic scores like 59, but the audience scores 80. We were just talking about this.
The Tomorrow War.
Yeah. Okay. So you liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it in the sense like it's not something. I can understand why the critic score is there.
Oh, right. Okay.
It makes sense. But like, it's just.
Wait. Is it bad though? Like, if I watch it, is it like, oh, this is sloppy, or is it like what's bad about it?
No, you can say like it's just a blockbuster type, right? Where
But like, is the graphics bad? Like,
sorry,
is the graphics bad?
The graphics are not bad. It's not the graphics are bad or anything like that. What I mean is like it's a big budget in a sense of a movie that you would see in theaters, but it's just like critics wise, it's not like a great.
Okay.
Not like an Oscar thing, right? You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
It's just a popcorn flick. Like there's some movies you just call it as a popcorn flick. You don't have to think. Just have to watch it and enjoy the action. Enjoy the.
Okay.
That's all basically about it. Like kind of like Fast and the Furious kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
But like they're not great movies.
Right.
In generality, it's
yeah,
just like a popcorn fun flick.
Right. Okay. So it's, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like Fast. It wasn't like Fast 1 and 2. It was like Fast 7. Or
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Is the story told well? Because like even the Fast and the Furious movies.
No, I think
like
the story is
Hobbs and
very predictable.
Shaw. Oh, okay, predictable. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, okay, let's just have the fun action
Right.
thing. Just not something you need to really think about. I mean, I think that's why the critics give it low. It's like they want to think, I guess, or like do all that kind of stuff. But it's just like a general audience thing. Like there are some movies like that, right? And I can't remember offhand. Like they're just, we may not have liked it, but like the audience loved it. Yeah. So it's just like that.
Okay.
Sure. If you know what you're going into, then it's fine.
Right. Okay. Got you. Cool. Yeah. So I kind of lost my train of thought there because I started thinking like I kind of want to watch this movie now. But anyways, so The Post, talking about good movies. We watched we're actually in a Tom Hanks binge right now.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about,
it's like it's not Tom Hanks level. Let's just say.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. I get what you're saying. So he's like, yeah.
Like I wouldn't even give it 80. Like I think that's
all right.
Yeah. It's just.
And so we before we're trying to figure out who the best actor of all time was.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who we landed on.
I think it was Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah. Thank you. You remember? So Christian Bale, because like he's able to adapt who he is multiple times, like to different, like he can take on the accents. He's like a very method actor, like he'll lose like a lot of weight for a role, et cetera. But one person that seems to always be the exact same person in every role, and yet he makes amazing movies, is Tom Hanks. Like we've been watching just everything Tom Hanks right now. So I watched Catch Me If You Can with Tara. What were the other ones?
Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of Spies
was the first one. Captain Phillips.
Then we watched The Post. And then we're gonna watch Sully.
We have Sully, News of the World, and The Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I think it was.
Yeah. So this guy is so phenomenal. We should go back and watch like You've Got Mail or something. See if he's that good. Because that was one of his,
or like, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, dude. All right, so there's so many Forrest Gump memes. I've seen pieces of Forrest Gump, but I've never seen like straight front to back Forrest Gump. Because one of those movies you're just like, it's always playing.
I watched it a long time ago, but yeah.
So, you know what's weird? I saw this meme where it was like, if you don't let your children watch TV when we were younger, they missed out on the cultural zeitgeist of that time.
Right.
So like there's a lot of memes that we all know about, but it's because we all went through it. Because that's what everyone was watching. Like all was on TV was like, you just have movies playing all the time, the same movies playing all the time. Yeah. So like when I say I've watched Forrest Gump, I've watched it, but I didn't really pay attention. It was just playing in the background, yeah. So all that all being said, Tom Hanks seems to be the exact same actor every time, but his movies are freaking phenomenal. Yeah. But okay, so that's not really the point of this. So like we can just gush on Tom Hanks all we want, but what I really wanted to get into was The Post was about them finding documents about the Vietnam War being prolonged for 30 years, and they knew that they were losing it. And also that it was an unjust war, but they didn't put this out to the public. And then it was
it an unjust war? I don't remember why they went to.
No, remember they're like
Vietnam.
So like one of the pieces was like, we're just going to say this so we can manipulate the public. Do you remember
to continue the war? Though, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. I suppose unjust in that they kept pumping money. They told everyone that it
became an unjust thing.
So they're like, we're pumping all this money in, we're doing well, but it turns out that they're actually like not really doing well. So they're wasting lives and money.
Right.
But they're telling the general public.
Well, we've seen other movies that mention
the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
It's totally
the trial one.
The Chicago 7.
Was it the Chicago 7?
Isn't that Vietnam wartime?
Yeah, I don't remember which one. Yeah, I think maybe it was that. The one that I forgot his name, the Borat character.
Yeah, Chicago 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were reading out the names that died.
Yeah, in the Vietnam War.
Right.
Yeah, totally. So it's funny because like everyone in like American ethos, you think about the Vietnam War being like this terrible thing, but you never really like look into what really happened. We just know that we lost that war. But when me and Tara visited Vietnam, and like there's so many museums about like the atrocities that the Americans did to the Vietnamese. Like Monsanto GMO.
Yeah.
They created Agent Orange, which like to this day creates deformed babies. Because of the chemicals that they sprayed. And there are actually pieces in the museum dedicated to wartime photographers who are American too, who took pictures of what was really going on and tried to send them back to America, but they were being like ignored by the American people. But they have like these monuments to these photographers that tried to tell the truth about what was happening in Vietnam. Yeah. So that all being said, it's interesting that we think that this is over with. It's like if you have a history of doing this, how do we know that you're not doing this now?
Right.
And I feel like
that's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's also like it can become, then you just don't trust anything.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Like healthy skepticism, you know, being like, okay, what is the real agenda here? But again, I think we talked about this on the last podcast, but like, it's always about testing your ideas by informing yourselves. So if you don't like something, learn more about that thing and then see if you really don't like it, Yeah. But it's like, that takes like a lot of work. Most people don't do that.
Yeah.
So yes, you can become distrusting of everything.
Right.
And you need like healthy skepticism where it's like, it might be true, it might not be true. Let me look at the facts. But one thing that really hit me in that movie is how they don't actually see people as people, but as like pawns to their agenda.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody thinks that like...
Well, it was like a system, right? Where...
let's send these young people off to die. It doesn't matter because politically we can't look like we're losing. Yeah. Like that was the whole thing in the Vietnam War. That's why they didn't want to pull out. They're like, America will look bad. Right. So we'll just keep sending people to die. And then when people found out, they're like, why? It makes sense now. Like Muhammad Ali went to jail for dodging the Vietnam War. Yeah. Right? He's like, he didn't want to go. And they're like, oh, you're a coward for not fighting for your country, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like, but this is an unjust, well, it's not my war. Yeah. I think he even said that. It's like, it's not my war, right? Yeah. And that's like, it's illuminating, but also scary. But oftentimes the truth is always scary, because I don't think that when you really boil down to it, individuals don't matter. It's the country that matters. Your like gang affiliation matters, right? Like, why is treason the biggest like infraction you can have in a country? Like, if they hit you with the Treason Act, you're basically done. Yeah, that's because like the individual doesn't matter. It's all like, so basically in the movie, the New York Times gets these files, they release them to the public, they get slapped with an indictment and a potential like threat of treason. Like, we need you to stop doing this. But it's like, but why would this be an issue? This is just the truth. And they're like, well, the president can't operate without secrets, is one thing they said. Yeah. That already is scary. So then the Post took the lead of the New York Times and they released the papers despite the potential indictments. Yeah. And that's what the whole movie is about, like how the paper took back the power against the government. Yeah.
And they went to court in the Supreme Court.
Yeah. So the Supreme Court said like, no, it's the power of the people.
There was a good line in there. It was like the paper is they
don't serve the...
Yeah, they don't serve the government. They serve the governed.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
that was a good line.
It was a good line. Yeah, totally.
And it's still doing the same thing. I mean...
Yeah, totally. But I think that the people in these positions of power were like, yeah, sure, we lost that battle, but we didn't lose the war, because there's still the.
But that's why it's still people, right? So there's people. That guy that did the leaks.
While he was in government.
While he was in government, that's still happening. We've got Snowden.
Yeah, but they get hit with Treason Act.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But it seems like there's still generally people that go into it. Well, I don't want to say generally. They go into it with good intentions.
Yeah, totally.
In these positions. And it's up to how level of a character do you have that you're going to reveal something that's really going wrong.
Right.
And that's someone like characters like Snowden, or that person that did it for the Post.
But Snowden is still hiding.
Yeah, it is. But in the general public, he's revered as a hero.
Totally.
Right. But the government is viewed him as
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like individuals don't matter. The government matters.
Yeah.
You know,
they've been. I remember they've been trying to, even Obama's near the end of Obama's reign, and I think they're doing it now too with Biden, trying to bring him back as not a hero versus
exonerate him.
Exonerate him. Yeah, that's the word.
We'll see.
I don't know.
and politicians, right? So it's like, are you exonerating him for a good reason? Or are you exonerating him because that's what the people want?
Yeah, well, that's what they're supposed to do, right? Generally, and you're voting them in.
No, totally. But I'm wondering is like,
but these are not the big issues that people really look at. That's
what I'm saying, right? It's small wins, big battles, right? So it's like, yeah, you get Snowden back, cool, small win for you. But the bigger issue is this, you know? It's like, so Snowden fought for privacy, right? Small win, he's your hero, you guys get him back. But we're still surveilling you. So it's like he didn't really change anything, right?
No. It was that it was revealed that they were doing it. He can't change anything.
That's what I mean. Small win, big battle. Like you might have won the battle, but like the war continues and they're winning the war. Yeah. The government is winning the war because they're still the
I mean, body. It's outside of people in a sense, right? Because you keep shifting in people 4 years, every 4 years or something.
Totally.
But
and the person every 4 years is like elected by the people, but the people that don't have to be left, they're like, yeah, but we're really running the show. Yeah. I want to, this ties really well into the next topic, but I just want to quickly segue into, or make a quick tangent. I realized I read the book Excellent Sheep, and I realized that that's what's going on too. So what the author is, he's like a Yale professor, ex-Yale professor, and he was saying that what we're taught in these top tier schools is just to become excellent sheep. Like you graduate and then you become basically a yes man for corporations, to boil it down. But everyone that, like the whole idea of college and university is like find your dreams, become the best you possible. And it's funny because the people that actually did that didn't even like either didn't complete or didn't value college and university. Like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all these like real, Mark Zuckerberg, they went to the university, but they're like, this isn't for me. And they're the leaders.
Sure.
Right. But those leaders need sheep. And it's like, that's really what the university does, create. But okay, so looking at that again, from a government perspective, you need strong economies with strong businesses. So why is school structured in a way to turn you into a sheep? It's because they need you to do that so that their economy can be lifted up.
Right.
Like it makes total sense. Yeah. But it goes back to the idea of the individual doesn't really matter. It's about the collective whole, which is the government. The country matters. Yeah. Just food for thought.
Yeah, it's always like that. Is there anywhere you go?
I know, but I feel like on the superficial level, because I hear it all the time, like people are like, oh, I'm going to do this in my life. I'm going to do this. I'm like, my choices, like people have such entitlement over their lives, but if you really understand what's going on, it's like you have the illusion of entitlement. It's just like free will. It's like you have the illusion of free will.
Yeah, but I don't think everybody can do any, like, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone's going to become a Mark Zuckerberg or something.
No, I know. I agree.
Right.
But that's why I'm saying, like...
Like, those people will be like those people if they have those characteristics, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can't turn a lion into a sheep, and you can't turn a sheep into a lion.
Yeah.
You are what you are.
Yeah. So it's just like...
No, I totally agree with you. Yeah. But this ties back into like determinism and free will as well, because people believe that they have free will, but it's not true. It's like, oh, I have individual rights in a country. You do, to a point, right? At the end of the day, there's a reason why we created the Treason Act, because the country above an individual.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, sure, you
it's
get to
institutions,
vote in.
right?
Yeah,
institutions are bigger than us.
Yeah. It's funny, the institution, Meghan Markle and that guy. But anyways, so now going back to the continuation, that was just a side tangent about voting people in every 4 years, UFOs. So now that more and more stuff gets out, that's a fascinating one to me, because it's like, are there are there aliens, or is there a secret invisible race of Wakandans out there?
I know. They're keeping that away from us.
I know, right? Like, so the reason why this ties in is like,
it's like, why do we believe the reports necessarily? So they released the reports, I guess, right? Pentagon papers.
Yeah.
When they said that they don't know what it is, but they don't think it's alien, but they don't know what it is.
Right.
So it's like, do we just take their word for it? Like, again, it's like, just because they put out a report, does it mean their report is true?
Yes, but I think that it's also backed with like individual evidence, which is like photographs, personal encounters.
No, I know, but it's like
why did they put out the report?
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like we already don't trust the government, so how do we know what they're actually saying is true? This then comes back to, again, it's like,
well, like what's really
people
going
have
on?
to be reporting on this or researching this.
But they are, though. Like the news sources like Washington Post, CNN, they're all
right.
About
No, I understand that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, what we don't know what the actual fact is. Maybe there is something that we don't.
Like a race, you mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting when you think about how this whole thing is playing out with the alien stuff, because it also mirrors like COVID. Okay, so once you've released it, there's like either acknowledgers or deniers, and the acknowledgers are broken down into two camps, which will inevitably become either like pro-alien or anti-alien. So if you've acknowledged it, either you're going to be like, come down and help us, or, oh, I hate aliens.
Okay.
Right? True, right? Like if you acknowledge it, what are your two options?
Oh, yeah, but why would you hate aliens?
Because but it's throughout history. It's like them versus us.
Oh, okay, like that.
Yeah. You're either going to be like, come down and help us, or be like, you stay away from our planet, because I don't know what you are.
I guess, yeah, maybe.
Right? Like, what else would it be, though?
Why would it be help? Could it be just like just having a handshake and then...
I mean, like, oh, you're just there?
Yeah. Why help necessarily? I can get some people would say that, but would everyone not? There would be some people that.
No, but all right, I lump them into pro-alien, like pro-alien and anti-alien.
All right.
It's like pro, as in like, sure, you acknowledge them, cool, you're there.
All right.
Because it's like the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I know this vaccine's here, it's gonna help me. Either you're pro-vaccine, or like you acknowledge that there's the vaccine and it can do something.
Yeah.
So you're either pro or against it.
Okay.
You're pro, I'll take it, or like against it, I'll let everyone take it because I'm unsure of the side effects. Something like that.
Okay.
Right. And then there's the denier camp. That I feel like that's like aliens too. It's like you're either going to be pro-alien or anti-alien, because that's just been throughout history. Like, that's just how we think.
Okay.
Right. You saw it you see it all the time, even with like the Irish, right? The Irish, they were on the other side of the bridge, and then because they were different religions, they would like kill each other. Like we're always like competing for resources. That's like our monkey mentality.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So like if you see an alien come, you're like, are you going to take my stuff, or are you going to let me live? So you're going to be defensive, and then it lumps it into the next camp, which is the deniers. And the deniers are just straight up conspiracy theorists. They're like, oh, this footage is fake. but the government's trying to control me. Just like the vaccine. Oh, there's microchips in that thing. It's I think the thing that I'm most fascinated about the alien thing isn't actually the aliens itself. It's how we're like dealing with the situation. Because we already saw how we dealt with the COVID stuff. To see the alien stuff, it's like this is the exact same thing, just manifested in a different way.
Sure. Yeah.
Like even the deniers, even if you see it, right? So like for the denier camp, let's say there's an alien thing in the sky that we could all see. The deniers will be like, that's a hologram, right? Like they'll just straight up keep denying it. Even if so in terms of COVID, oh, look, the cases are going down. They were going to go down anyways. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
It's like...
But couldn't there be an I don't know camp? Because can we say aliens necessarily? They're just... Their term they're using now is UAPs, right?
Okay, yeah. But what do you mean I don't know camp? So like you... so you see... So we have evidence.
I'm saying... to the word aliens. Like you can say there's a UAP, I guess.
Sure, okay. No, I meant alien in terms of... I didn't mean like a alien like... Like, you know...
Because I think the alien term is maybe a little bit
So alien, when you actually look at what the word alien means, it's like not from here. So...
Right,
that's
so...
illegal aliens in countries.
I understand that,
yeah.
But
so I'm using it like that. It's like not from here. Like not identified as a category.
No, but you're saying not from Earth?
No. Not from here. So like not from an identified thing. So it's like, oh, that's a Chinese alien ship. That's a Canadian alien ship.
Right.
We don't know who it's from, so it's alien.
Yeah, I think in that term...
It could be from off-world. Just the actual word alien means like not affiliated with a thing.
No, I understand that. But I think colloquially it's not really used like that, right?
That's how I'm using it though.
Okay, I just wanted to...
okay.
Understand that definition.
So does that take away your
No, that's fine, because it's a UAP. If you're using it, it's the same kind of thing, just unidentified.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying there's only 3 camps. Okay. Acknowledge, deny, and within acknowledge, you're either pro or against.
Okay. Because my original thinking when you said alien, I was thinking aliens.
No, we don't know that. I'm just saying like actually.
Right. But that's why I was trying to clarify the term.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That you're using it as.
Right. So you acknowledge that there's only 3 camps.
Sure.
As well. Okay. Yeah. So it'll be super interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Or if it will ever unfold.
You think they're just gonna keep stringing us along?
I don't know. What are we, like? I don't know if we're gonna get to an answer.
That's true too.
I just don't think that's like if it's we don't know what it is, and if it just goes on like that, then
just forever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. They could keep just stringing us along.
Or we just don't have the tech to currently understand what it is. If it is something from outside of Earth, or if it is from Earth that we don't have the technology to understand what that is.
The person that was on Lex Friedman's podcast made a lot of sense, where it's like the resources required to travel interstellar distances would be so tremendous. It's more likely that they're from here than from outside.
Right.
Yeah. Or I mean, that's also our own feeble understanding of science and like.
I understand that, things. Yeah. I mean, but also our egotistical understanding.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, totally. Because we're using our own framework, and we assume that our framework.
No, I understand that. No, I get that. But also, it could be more like I think what Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying was like,
why would they even wanna...
why would they care about us? Like that's also part of the ego that we think it's aliens.
Totally. So
it's like there's both ways here.
But then that would suppose that they aren't from another planet; that they're from here.
Yeah.
So you think he thinks that they're from here as well?
I don't know what he thinks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he was I think had a week of like
because it makes no sense
posting
to me.
stuff
like,
about aliens.
There is something happening.
Right.
But what is that thing we don't know?
Right.
But to not even acknowledge that something's
happening.
happening,
It could be an instrument issue. It could be I
don't know, like these videos are sure an instrument. Like if it's a blip on
I'm just saying like no. What I'm saying is like some could be, some may not be either, right? Like there's so many I don't knows in this thing that maybe like there's more validity to certain footages than others.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like some could be just.
But even the existence of one being an actual craft.
Sure.
Even if it's just one of these being verified as an actual craft, the fact that you don't know where that craft came from is really freaky. But you should take it seriously.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any satellite footages, because there should be some of that stuff if they're ever coming in or if they're already here.
True. If there's actually, I think Joe Rogan asked that too. Something about like, why don't you just triangulate on that area that you keep seeing stuff and just watch it? Maybe they are. They're just not telling us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
so logical. Why would they not be doing that? They're probably just not releasing their part. They're like, of course we're watching it. Like they're listening to us like, yeah, dummy. That's a logical next step. It's like, what, you didn't think anybody thought about that except for you? Like,
right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they are doing that. Or maybe they're doing that and they're just so freaked out by what they're seeing. We can't release this to the general public because we are already afraid ourselves.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Or a smaller group of, people in specific governments are working on this thing that they can't reveal until they know. I don't know.
True, yeah, it could be that too.
Or when it's time to know. That's another thing. It's like when there's an actual issue.
Or what if we're in a simulation and those are like that transport ships.
Right.
That, like, they drop more like simulated bodies into the world. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
It could be anything at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
But it could just like completely unravel our complete understanding of like nature as a whole.
It could be cool as aliens, but if you are really aliens, just land somewhere and fucking do something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But what's really interesting if you look at that whole alien thing and like simulation theory, and everyone's getting obsessed with like the reality of their situation. If you look at like Descartes, I read his book. He's too religious for me. I can't. But he has this one famous line: "I think, therefore I am." That's the only thing we can know that's true in the world, right? Like the fact that you're able to experience your experience shows you that that's the only thing that's real. Because outside of experiencing your experience, you don't know if that's real. It's a perception of reality, right? But we know we're experiencing something. That's what the whole idea of "I think, therefore I am" means. Right. And then now taking Zen into account, which is like, who cares about any outside experience because it's all fake anyways. Just focus on your own personal experience.
Yeah. So
like, even if it is simulation theory, who cares?
It
You're
doesn't really
still living the life. It's like, dude, our whole entire lives are a simulation. So, like, really? So,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
gonna still wake up, go to work, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna quit your job, and then that's your decision. Like, you can't escape your own personal experience. So I think if you hold that perspective, it doesn't really matter what life brings your way. Like, let's say there's an asteroid coming. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you don't have any control of those things anyways. Right.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You're still living life.
It's just happening. Yeah. You saw that with the COVID thing, right? Like, oh, we're all like not allowed to go out and stuff. And then we get vaccines and like everything returns back to normal. People just forget instantly. They're like, oh, that was like a bad dream.
Yeah, I think that might happen.
Right? Like, even like my own personal experience, as soon as they're like, yeah, just like, you don't have to wear masks, movie theaters are open, you can do whatever you want, I'll just return back to like those same habits. Okay, let's go eat at a restaurant. Okay, let's go to the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like, even from this perspective of understanding this, and this is how it works, but that's life. Like, we all really don't care about anything. We just care about what's happening to us. Yeah. That is a really interesting segue, but I'm like, I don't know how to segue this politely. Maybe I'll segue it this way. There's a lot of free time on our hands right now, and I find it interesting that
I think this is the.
Oh, you know how to segue it?
Yeah. So
okay, cool,
with the COVID, like generally when we look back in other histories, we see they have specific names they give those times.
Okay.
Like maybe the Renaissance and these sort of things. I feel like there was
Age of Enlightenment, stuff like that.
It's the new age, because I think they've used Age of Enlightenment before, but it's like the new Age of Enlightenment in the modern time.
Okay.
I think that's what happened for COVID, because with people, not having work or having more free time and all this like from the beginning we went through it's the Black Lives Matter. Like it's been going on, but it was an opening
segue, Bish. Okay, good.
It was an opening
what
into
a gentle segue. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Keep going. I see where you're going with this.
Right. Like the knowledge of like what treatment of black people and then the cops. And then now we've got there was a whole with Derek Chauvin, that officer being convicted and now officially being sentenced. And then now Canada's coming into this story that has been talked about a long time, but hasn't gotten its light.
Facts.
Right.
Yes.
Because they've been saying this in the indigenous community a long time.
Yeah.
About all these missing kids.
Yes.
And then now
we're
it's
finding
all
the actual
coming
evidence.
out. Yeah. Now we're coming out with evidence. And there's a ton of them.
Yeah, which is like that. Imagine being in that position of like screaming your head off. But it also happened in America, right? The Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Screaming your head off like, this is going on, guys. You need to pay attention. I worked with this one lady and she was indigenous and she was like specifically a part of the organization because she was supposed to lend that indigenous perspective. And the thing she was saying, I went on like a personal call with her after because I'm like, this is like so true. So basically, the majority of, I'm going to use settler because I heard that person say it. I was like, that is what a gentle way of saying it. Because I was like from the Black Panther movie, colonials and colonizers. Yeah. Right. But then I guess that's too dark. So this one guy, Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek.
In some sense, in a way, because a lot of them came from like parts of Europe. And they wanted to settle in a new country, right? I guess that's what the term settlers are.
Yeah, but still, you're really colonizing.
Well, basically, the first people that came here colonized it in a sense, right? Then the settlers came in.
Because they're like, oh, you've colonized it for us. Thank you. We will now settle in your colonized land.
We were going to come to this new land, but it's not really new land.
True.
It's land that's been taken away.
Yeah, you're right. But so Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek, he for Canada Day, he was like, let's not celebrate it. Let's educate ourselves. And he's like, I took this course and like as a settler I learned a lot about my heritage, blah blah blah. And it's funny because like, so the majority of people at that place where I worked, they were all settlers. Right? And there was maybe 5 of us who were not. I was one of them. And it was interesting to listen. So she would do these talks of like re-education and like opening up the settlers' minds to what has been happening, and everything she was saying was so true. The other people, they were like immigrants and they didn't care at all. They're like, we know this already. And me, I was like, I've been told this too. But to watch people's like indignation towards her, like their disgust and like subtle hate, you know, it's like they just don't want to look at the truth because the truth is ugly.
Yeah.
You know? And now with what's happening, she doesn't work there anymore. Neither do I. But now with what's happening, it's funny, not funny, but it's
interesting.
It's interesting, yeah. How like now it's slapping them in the face because everything she said during those like seminars, they're seeing like, this is the truth. Yeah. You know, we've heard it so many times. They came in, they pushed out the Native Americans. Even into this day, like you're on a reserve, you know, you are in this specific part, like homelessness and drug abuse is very rampant within the indigenous community. Mm-hmm. You know, you lived in Yellowknife or whatever, right?
Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay. Who's from Yellowknife? What's Yellowknife?
It's like the territories.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. I don't know geography too well. But Thunder Bay. So you saw it too, right? You were like, I saw it. It's pretty intense. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting now that you're right with this new age of enlightenment, like focusing all these problems, the Black Lives Matter issue, the indigenous issue. It's like we need to come to terms. I say we, but it's not really we because our ancestors are also foreign to this land. Like we're like the children of immigrants. We aren't Canadian. We're Canadian by certification, but not by blood. Like genetically, we're not Canadian.
Yeah, but then they could say the same thing, right?
Oh, true. About the colonized settlers.
Okay, we're in a way settlers too now, in that sense.
True. Okay. Yeah. True. But our ethnicities have their own stories too. Like British ruled India.
Yeah.
The Spanish and well, no, the Americans helped us, but the Spanish like ruled Philippines. Yeah. You know, so it's not new to us to hear these things.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, oh, the colonizers and settlers, like they did all these terrible things to these Native Americans. It's like, yeah, that's typically what colonizers and settlers do. Like in our own history, there are so many brutal stories of what happened to people of India, people of Philippines, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that
like for us is a bit different in the sense that our countries got their independence, right?
Right, but Native Americans is not.
There's no. Yeah. This is their country.
Yeah, totally.
But they don't have anymore, right?
Yeah,
that's
totally.
the thing. Yeah, and that living on reserves, not having adequate, clean water. There's like so many other things that they also have to deal with that's still going on today.
Yeah. Did you remember that movie we watched with Christian Bale? And then they were at the dinner table, and then Christian Bale's character was like, he had just fought a bunch of like indigenous people.
Yeah.
And then the lady was an indigenous activist, and she was like, yeah, but we came to their land, and like she was like saying the truth.
Right.
But he didn't want to hear it because he was like on the front lines of like killing them.
Well, not that he didn't want to hear it.
Oh, no,
the lady that was there,
her family just got slaughtered.
By it.
Yeah.
But that was both were fighting in that sense. But yeah. But who came here first, right?
Yeah, totally. It's interesting too. Yeah, I gotta stop saying funny. It's funny. That's just my word. I'm switching it to that's interesting because it's not really funny. It's like it's interesting.
Right.
It's interesting too when you look at, we were talking about 9/11, remember? And you're like, oh well, it was a just war, right? And I was saying, yeah, but look at what we did to them. So I don't think there is any just war. I don't think there is any just killing. Because there's always like a reason behind something. So it's like going to Afghanistan was a just war because of what they did for 9/11. It's like, yeah, but look at what Americans did there, and also like Osama working with the Americans too. Something happened there. Like initially, if you look in the history of that, Afghanistan, like America worked with Afghanistan to kick out Russia, and then when they kicked out Russia, America took over as the power. So they were like, "Hey, well, I thought you were trying to liberate us." I
don't know what exactly happened between those with Osama and America.
No, I've heard this. I've looked into this story. It's like, yeah, they helped.
No, I know that they helped. But what happened that
they gave them a promise of independence.
Okay.
And then they didn't leave.
Right.
So they're like,
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Like they're like, let's help you kick out Russia. And then they did, and they're like, wait, aren't you guys going to go now too? No, you need us to create democracy.
And now we're leaving. Now as in Americans, they're finally leaving Afghanistan now.
Yeah. How many years has that been?
It's been 20 years.
20 years. So it doesn't even beat the
But
Vietnam War.
At the same time, it's like, I just saw like where there's a lot of people from Afghanistan trying to find visas to leave Afghanistan.
Power vacuums, man.
Because now because Taliban is coming back into power.
Totally.
And they have a local or like Afghanistan's own military that they don't think is powerful enough to hold them back.
It's interesting. We were talking about Andrew Yang, and then we were like, he wouldn't fare well in an intern. Like as a mayor, sure, but as a president, you need to know a lot about international policies and like cause and effect ramifications. Like if I do this, like power vacuums, right? So like we look at, like America looks at the president as like the governing body, but it's like they're really just dealing with external forces. they deal with internal things too, but that's why you have like your directors and your managers. Like if you're looking at a company, the CEO looks at the outside, and then there are people managing the inside, which is like the mayors of like the cities and stuff, or the governors too. Like look at areas. I feel like global politics. The principle of global politics is super simple, right? It's just how do countries interact with one another on an economic and relationship based level, right? Or let's not even take out economic. How do global economics boil down is just how do countries deal with one another in a relationship level?
Yeah.
Right? Because that can include war, that can include, money, businesses, all that stuff. But actually doing global economics is very difficult because it's like, the principle's simple, but being able to understand the ramifications of every decision you make is very difficult, And I think that's why it's always going to be messy, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like no one person can do that job because it's like especially if it's like every 4 years too, right? So like, what are you gonna do when that person leaves? Everything gets undone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That all being said, a lot of countries need to address their truths.
Yeah, that's what Canada's going through right now.
Yeah.
That's what that is. But
our own version of like our real version of the BLM movement, Although like obviously not to downplay them because like obviously stuff happens in urban communities too here, but like one of the stories that's completely unaddressed is the Native American stories. I have one question though. What do you think about Trudeau like telling the Pope?
I thought that was a bit of a. Well, he did apologize as a government, right? Because there's got to be two apologies because it was these what do they call those?
Residential schools.
Yeah, residential schools. They were run by
Catholics.
Catholic Church. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why he said that because they were run by them. But as a government, he apologized. I mean, that's what you have to do that.
Right.
Acknowledge what we've done here.
Right.
And then by calling out the Catholic Church to do the same thing and on Canadian soil, it's kind of a bit of a bold saying. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
that's why I like Trudeau, man. So savage. What did I say about Chad? He's like a progressive masquerading as a liberal. Because like the things he's doing are like, wow, you are.
I just wouldn't have expected him to say that.
That's what I'm saying. But also like,
or any leader to say that necessarily, because that's kind of
that's straight up the Catholic Church. That's the longest governing body preceding.
And then he's a Catholic too, right?
He is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he is.
Dang. I think that's the majority of people like within like the people of the book sector. Because I'm Catholic too. I went to Catholic school, but like we never talk about Christians here in Canada. It's more, but like Christians is more prevalent in USA, whereas Canada is more Catholic. Yeah. I don't really know many Christians, but I know a lot of Catholics. Although that could also be because I went to Catholic school, so like I don't know. But yeah, him saying like at face value, you're like, why would you call it the Catholic Church? But it's like that statement has so many different levels to it because it's like now you're also acknowledging that religion is what propagated forward. But it's true. That's why it's like so nuts to me. It's like, why can't you just look at the truth? The reason why you went around colonizing the earth is because of religion. You used Catholicism and the idea that man has dominion over the earth to basically like abuse and rape the earth of its resources, of its people, Like, I think that's the only religion that says like man has dominion over everything on earth. Like we rule everything.
You're talking about
like in the book, like this Bible 101. That was like Genesis. Like saying
okay,
because they're all the same, right? People of the book, like Jews became Christians, became Muslims.
Okay,
but if you look all the way back in the Torah or the Old Testament. Old Testament is the Torah.
Yeah.
So if you look back in that, that's where you get like God created earth for man. And then they took that ideology and spread it. Like they used it for their own power and gain.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And that's generally how the biggest country in the world operates right now, which is USA. Right? Because like all their leaders are some derivative of people of the book. Protestant, same thing. You believe in Jesus. Like
that's I don't know if that's in I don't know what the current poll would be, but yeah, that's what they were saying. They would pick a person that's like religious.
Even
or like
freaking Trump had to switch, right?
Yeah, he had to. Right? Well, yeah, if you're conservative or Republican, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like you're propagating your.
What did he do? That was. It was during the Black Lives Matters movement that happened in front of the White House. Remember? And then they.
No.
Yeah, he came out to a church just outside of the White House.
Okay.
Just standing there. He walked from the White House there, hold up the Bible.
Wow.
Photo op, and then went back to.
Like you need to. But like if you look at how China runs its operations, that's like Confucianism, right? Mm-hmm. That's philosophy. Other religions, Taoism, philosophy, Hinduism, Shintoism, Native American religions, they all work in conjunction with nature. Mm-hmm. Like Confucianism is philosophy built up by a guy named Confucian. He never said Earth is owned by man. Mm-hmm. Only one religion said that. Only one group.
Right.
Yeah. So all right. So all that being said, to circle back, that's why it's interesting that Trudeau called him out, because that not subconsciously, subtly acknowledges the fact that like you guys made us this way, you know? Mm-hmm. Because like he's like, yeah, it's a government issue. Yeah, we did set this up, but you guys made us believe something.
You guys ran the school,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But not even just running the school, but like if you look at it too, it's like you guys are what told us we could do this. Mm-hmm. You know, you're preaching the word of God. Kill everyone who doesn't believe in God.
Yeah.
I will bring the sword. Actually, that's in.
It was basically a residential schools. They were conversion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They were that. Yeah.
We
because you can hear from the people that survived it.
It's deprogramming.
Yeah.
Right. Like they would say, "No, we came here to help your parents," to the children. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's funny. We were driving down Yonge Street, and there was a person preaching. Another Abraham, that's what it is. I keep saying the people of the book. I'm like, what is? But it is people of the book. But it's like, what is it? She was preaching an Abrahamic philosophy. She was saying like, Jesus is your savior, etc., etc. And it's like, and Tara asked me like, oh, I wonder why she's does she think she's going to convert people like that? And then I was like, because she's like, if you just told me like you're doing a bad thing, I would scoff at you and be like, what do you know, right? And I said, from that person's perspective, she's doing the work of God, because God said, go out and preach the word of God.
He did.
So she doesn't know what she's doing. She's not really trying to convert you. She's just doing what the book told her to do.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like confused and, you know?
Yeah.
I'm really trying to tread lightly here. Every time I'm about to say that, it's like, is this the correct? Like, don't say this in a bad way. You know? Because it's very subtle. Like, to be told that one group is like responsible. It's true though, but to be told that one group is responsible for like complete dominion over Earth, and that's the reason why we are the way we are, is like. It's pretty gonna get a lot of hate mail, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with some of the one video that I saw, the protest, or like the handprints, the bloody handprints
on
the
lady,
Catholic Church.
They caught her,
Yeah, I thought that was a very strong message because it's like you have blood on your hands.
Yeah, I know. That's
That
crazy.
was a very like
That's pretty intense.
the meaning behind that thing. But burning down stuff, I don't agree with.
Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
But I don't know even who was doing that, right? It doesn't have to be necessarily even the Native Indians doing that.
Yeah, right. One thing I want to tie back into like the preaching of that girl on Young. If you actually read the New Testament where Jesus comes in, I said this before, it's the same stories, like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's the same story, just told from 4 different perspectives. And you go from like Matthew, which is super nice. That's where the whole love philosophy comes from. Mark, Luke, and then by the time you get to John, it's like straight bloodshed. Like he says, I will spread the word by truth or the sword. So taking that into consideration, that's what the Crusades most likely got sparked from.
Yeah.
Oh, a sword? All right, cool. Let's go kill people. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's the only religion that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right? Because like who else does that? Do Hindus is it written in the Hindu religion like conquer the world?
To my knowledge, I don't think so.
No, Shintoism, which is Japanese, is like it's all about balance with nature. Mm-hmm. Confucianism, maybe, but it's not about like converting people. Confucianism, it's all about like it's just a philosophy.
Right.
Yeah. The natives even are all about like balance with nature.
Yeah, maybe not in the books, but we still do it though.
No, we do it. Yeah, for sure. But like the reason why it's stronger if it's written down is it's like you create a stronger belief system. No, God told me to do this. Mm-hmm. Something beyond man. It's like even if you're like, oh, sure, you're right. We do fight with one another, but that's man to man, right? 2 opposing viewpoints fighting on a man level. But then you get an army filled with people who are like, no, we're God's soldiers.
Right.
It hits on a different level.
Yeah. It's
not about your own personal decision. It's about like God's true value or true desire.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this old story of Constantine. So when we went to Rome, I told you that they don't actually like the Catholic Church there. Like the Romans, like in Rome, they don't like the Vatican.
The Italians?
Yeah, the Italians, yeah. Which is, I was like blown away. I was like, I thought all of you were Catholic. Maybe like, no, because they have like, they think that the Vatican is too, like they're over exercising their power, right? Okay. So he was telling us one story of Constantine. He made all of his soldiers paint the cross on their shields because that would freak out the other army. Because it wasn't just you're not fighting men, you're fighting people of God.
Yeah. The symbol,
yeah. Right. So, yeah, just interesting. We got aliens. We got friggin' Canadian history being brought to light. COVID vaccines. It's like, it's a very interesting time ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's one of those weirdly enlightening I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
periods,
new enlightening period that happened in 2020.
If it wasn't for COVID and like the legalization of marijuana, like people just sitting at home getting high, just being like, oh, I want to Google stuff. Like the Dundas Street thing tripped me out. I was like, I had no idea this was even written about a person. Like, I didn't know it was named after a person.
A lot of them are named after a person, but I don't know who Dundas was.
Exactly. Yeah. Trippy. All right.
That's a different one too. Changing the name. They might have to help out even the business that have the name Dundas in their store names.
I know, right? Yeah.
They have to probably.
Are they really going to change?
Oh, that's what the mayor said.
Dang, bro.
It's been talked about since last year, right?
I don't know.
I remember it was being last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Trippy.
And then a year later, seems like we're getting close to it.
You know what's crazy about the kid thing? That was like, 2 schools only that they found?
I'm not sure how many they've found now, 2 or 3, but yeah, there's going to be more.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
There's going to be more.
That's
now because after the first one, I think they were doing these like scans on the ground. So
now
now
LiDAR scans.
Yeah, or whatever they were doing. And now they're gonna most likely find others. If they found it in 3 or 2 or 3, right? that's not
so
a good look.
Sad. That is so sad. Like,
because that is generally, that was a genocide.
Yeah, exactly.
In other words.
Yeah. Everyone's focusing on like the genocide of the Jews, but it's like, what about the freaking natives, bro?
Mm. That was a genocide. Like, you can't, those many kids.
Yeah, so that's too much. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. We need to like end this on a happy note.
Sure.
Because this is like sad. Hurts my soul. My soul's already been hurt. Now it's getting more hurt.
Don't want to add more stress to that.
Black Widow. Heard it was
this
amazing.
Friday.
Yep,
yeah.
This Friday, and I heard it was amazing.
Back to Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah, back to Marvel. Yeah, 'cause it's movies, right?
The
Positivity.
fun stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, excited to watch that, and she does our niece, Screama.
Oh, nice.
That's cool. And I heard that it is the best Marvel movie to date.
Okay.
That's what they were saying. I mean, that was like what Marvel put out. So like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. You sent me that that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Marvel. That was Marvel's own.
They're gonna do that.
Yeah, that's true. Is it gonna be Black Panther? Come on, that's a great. Or is it gonna beat Endgame? Come on. I don't know.
Well, it was one person's opinion that said that.
Oh really? Oh, marketing matters.
Because when they write that in, they had to put the tag of where that's from.
Oh, I didn't.
Which review person or the article?
Isn't that so funny that they wrote it so small? I didn't even notice the name. Like
that's what I always look at.
Oh,
when I see those ads, I saw
was a giant words. I was like, oh, really?
When I see that ad, because they can officially say that, but they got to quote it from where it's coming from.
Totally.
So it's someone's review that said that.
So funny.
So they're gonna, of course, promote that.
Yeah, marketing matters, bro. All right, till next time. Take it easy, Vish.
Yeah, peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.